let's see if I
unplug it and plug it back in solution.
make this a little bigger. Maybe not. Do I dare press the button?
No, just go with it.
Just go with it? Alright. Okay, so there's a couple things I want to talk about today. I want to talk about a new program that I'm using in terms of design, which I really like over Photoshop, and not over Illustrator, but for everything I possibly can. And I want to show off, I guess, a little bit of the workflow I do in terms of design. All the other talks I've done have been pretty heavy code, so I'm going to start looking at some other options here, like talking about design. So typically, how many of you guys work with Photoshop to design a website? Cool, that's what I used to do. It's tried and true. And hopefully I'll change your minds and you'll download this new program. But so typical Photoshop, right? You have your canvas with different layers that you maybe organize into top, content, footer. You have all, this is similar to what you guys do, right? I'm not crazy. I'm the only person that does it this way. Cool. So a couple of the problems with Photoshop in terms of web design is it's not really built for web developers, right? It's more so for photographers and photo editing and stuff like that. But somehow, the industry of designers has locked onto this, and this is what they use, right? And some of the ways that it struggles is that it doesn't really have that good of exporting options. It doesn't really cater to us in the sense where you can just quickly duplicate a whole layer, maybe show multiple artboards on one page, show a storyboard and stuff like that. It's more so isolated into one pane, and maybe you show and hide a layer and stuff like that, right? Is anyone nod? Just nod and say yes. I have problems with it. Anyway, so I found this application online. I can't remember where. Has anyone heard of Sketch? Cool. So I was pretty hesitant. I read some blogs about it. People switching from Photoshop to Sketch, and then I tried it and I really, really, really liked it. So I'm going to show you guys basically how I use it and why I think it's better. So the learning scale, it really didn't take long, right? It's super similar. Let me make this in the screen. Full screen here. It's extremely similar to Photoshop, right? On the left here we have our layers, basically exactly the same. Let me click that button. And one thing I do want to warn is that it's nowhere near as, proven as Photoshop in the sense that it's a couple of guys who made this, and it crashes sometimes. It's basically still in beta, so there are some errors, but I have found that it still increases my workflow a ton. So what we're looking at right here is a new template I want to make, and I just used some content from the Giving site to fill it as opposed to just standard Latin stuff. But so on the left we have our layers as opposed to on Photoshop where they're on the right. Make sense? Cool. It's a little less focused on the layers as opposed to it's just the fills and the lines, and you can group stuff, but it's not so much you're going to be doing all your editing here like in Photoshop, where I would go to, let's say, click on this, probably locked, and then maybe edit the effects on a certain thing on the layer. Does anyone else do this in Photoshop? Nod, right, Trish? Yes. Yeah. And you change stuff, and there's all these different clicks. You don't really do that in Sketch. Sketch really focuses right on the canvas, and you're not really changing the tools you're doing. It tries to make that as easy as possible and guesses what you're trying to do. So in Photoshop, I was super used to pressing V, right, to get to the move tool, and you're moving stuff around. In Sketch, right when you click, it guesses what you want to do. So if I click on text, and I double click again, boom, I'm right there in a text editor, as opposed to having to press T and stuff like that. I can move stuff around just like in, let me get in a little closer. Move stuff around. I can set styles for the text. So I say, H1, H2, H3, stuff like that. And you edit this and it'll change across to all the different text items that are associated with that style. You can make symbols. So if I go up to here and I group this, And let's say I name this symbol, and I can create a new symbol. Right, so now this is a symbol, and I can go up to Insert here, Symbol, and add it. Right, so with that, I can, duplicate. If I edit this, it'll edit all the other things that are associated with the symbol. Right, so in terms of app development, this is great. So let me open up an app here and show you how useful this is. Here we go. Right, so I've got all of these artboards that all have similar styles, right? And if I want to change one little icon on them, then I have to go through every single one and change it. And in Photoshop, you would have to go to the layer, maybe show a different layer to see it. But on Sketch, you can just create all of these different pages and use one symbol for all of them, right? So it's extremely useful. But that brings up also a really good point of this whole canvas. If we back up here, we can see that I have two canvases here. Now, you can do this, think of it about as an artboard in Illustrator. In Illustrator, you can create separate artboards and you can just draw right on them. This is very similar. I can create a new artboard and maybe name it, I don't know, contact page. So I just click on individual page. I just right click and press duplicate, and it duplicates everything that was on that previous page. And I can name it whatever I want. Oops. And then I can get right into it and start editing. Right? So I'm not having to show different layers on Photoshop. I'm not having to move stuff around or create whole new pages in Photoshop or new files for a different page. Right? And I can just drag and drop stuff from the other side onto this side, use symbols, or use the shared text. Now what I really like about Sketch is its exporting options. I think it's a lot simpler than Photoshop, and I think it'll make everything a lot faster. So let's say I want to shoot out this page to a client. All I do is I select it. Over here on the right, there's a little, can you guys see that? Barely. Little export. So I can do 2 times the size, half the size, 3 times the size, and whatever that one is. I don't know, 512 width or something. Add a suffix to it. So a lot of times, especially with app design or Retina display, you want to export your icons at 2x. So I can just do that no problem here. 2x, and then let's name it that, whatever your developer wants to call it. Format, PNG, JPEG, EPS, SVG, whatever. It's awesome. I can add another one. I can add even more. So then when I press export, let's see what happens here. Sometimes it crashes, to be honest. I'm going to let's go to my desktop, make a new folder, and export. Go up to here, desktop. Let's see what we're looking at. Here they come. Look at that. We're missing some? Nope, here you go. So that's, with one click, I just made 5 different things, right? So imagine, I've done this on, where is the different one here? I've done this on stuff like where I have 20 different things I need to export, right? Like all of these different icons. I can just go into export, press export, and boom, all of my assets are either an SVG, JPEG, PNG, or whatever size I want, right? Now, to do the equivalent of this in Photoshop, I wouldn't even know how to start. Oh, there it goes.
No.
To do the equivalent of that in Photoshop, let's say I wanted to, I should set that back up. I want to export like this guy here. This is how I would do it. I click on it, go over to Marquee, highlight it, Command Copy, Command New, Command V, File, save for Web, and let's say, they don't even have the option for SVG in Photoshop. Right, it's either PNG or JPEG. And then I press Save, and then I do that. And then I have one. And then I'd say, okay, I need it to be double size, so let's make this, what is it, 200? Or is it 150? Whatever. And then I do the same thing. Right, is that how you guys do in Photoshop? So do you see how much easier it is in Sketch? Everyone say yes.
Do you just have to make new artboards, or what do they call the slices?
Right, so
for each of the icons?
So what I did here, wait, where am I? Yep,
Mobile icons, the one at the bottom.
here we go. So what I did here is I did make new artboards, but you don't have to do that. You can make what's called a slice. So if I go to Insert and Slice, or I just press S, let me go down here. Let's say I just wanted to export something like this. I pressed S, you see the cursor changed? I can just go like this. It's basically the marquee tool. And now this creates a little slice here, and my export option's right here. So you can literally slice up any elements you want and export that way. I like to do it in terms of artboard. Just I don't know why, I think it's more organized for me. But let's go back over to the giving here.
So you don't have, like in Illustrator, you have separate objects. You don't have separate objects here, it's one object?
You do have separate objects, but you can't export just an object. That's one of the things I've kind of been back and forth with them about, emailing them and saying, because they used to be able to have a button that said create slices from your objects, and they took that out for some reason in Sketch 3, but it's who knows what will happen next. But so if I click on this guy here, symbol, here's the object, right? But I don't have the export option, I don't have a little export button here that says export just this object. So what I normally do is just press slice and go like that, and then I export that. I'm sure they'll make an easier way to do that, even though that's pretty easy. If I press export up here, it's just going to bring me up.
What's that thing on the bottom that says make exportable? Does that do it?
I hope so. What is that?
I don't know, at the very bottom, on the right.
Oh, heck yes. There you go.
Amazing.
I've been working with this application for probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 or a month or so, and new stuff like this happens all the time. It's really cool. Thanks, Trish.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's how you could do that instead of having to slice. Let's see. Anyone else have questions? Let's talk about this styling stuff on the right here. So I think what's really cool is that in Photoshop you have this long list of tools that I will maybe use 1 or 2 of, right? And so that's all clutter that you never really use. Maybe somebody who's merging 2 photos together, or taking the blemishes off somebody's skin on like a photo or something like that. So for Sketch, they kind of get rid of all that, and you just have this insert guy here, maybe vector, but most of these things you don't even really use, besides just moving this stuff around and maybe adding a new shape. So R for new rectangle. So let's go down here. Let's say we want to box this nice give me money text here. So just add this new rectangle right here. I'm going to move it down so we see the font. Let's go all the way. There it is. Cool. So in Photoshop, you'd make a new icon or a rectangle, you'd go to layer, blending, you'd make a stroke, maybe make a fill, gradient, overlay, and stuff like that. So in Sketch, all of those styles are on the right here. It's very influenced by all Mac applications. It looks the same. It's got the inspector on the right and stuff on the left, and all these guys across the top like pages, numbers, and Keynote if you've used those. But so we have a ton of different options here. We have border radius. Right, you guys see that? Yep. Say ooh. Pretty cool. Opacity, which would be for the whole thing, not just the border, not just the fill, for the whole thing. Blending, the exact same stuff as Photoshop, right? Fills, this is what's really cool. So similar to Illustrator, you can add a whole bunch of fills and a whole bunch of strokes to something. This does the same type of thing. So if I press add new fill, I've got all these different options here. I've got flat color, gradient, radial, I don't even know what this one is. This is like a angular gradient, pattern, and then I don't know what this one is. This is like noise or something. So then we have our color chooser down here. Different common colors that I've used. Obviously, here's UC Davis gold and blue. One thing I do wish that they would add is color groups. A little I really like how Illustrator you can add color groups and stuff. Maybe they'll do that if I ask them nicely. The typical stuff, right? Opacity just on the fill. Borders the exact same thing. Outside, center, thickness, Just click a button, drop shadow, inner shadows, you know, everything. They basically took all the common elements that Photoshop uses and popped that right into here, right? So click a button, check a box, boom, there you have it. Make sense? Yes. Okay, does anyone have any questions on this? Oh, actually, one more thing. Artboards. This is something that's really cool. At least I haven't done this in the newer version, but if I add a new artboard, check out the right. Portrait, iPhone. Instead of going online, going on iOS cheat sheet and looking for what the exact ratio is, you can just click this and it will make it for you right here. And then you can just design your app right there. Let's see what else they had. Insert artboard. iPad responsive web. So you can have 3 different, you know, you can have your full screen desktop, iPad, iPhone all right next to each other. Paper sizes, icons, all sorts of stuff. Very Mac biased, obviously. I don't see any Android stuff. And let's see, anything else I want to talk about? Style text. I think that's it. Oh, the image stuff is, I mean, they take everything just from the most popular stuff in Photoshop, like a blur. This must be locked. Here it is. Here it is. Clipping, masks, all that. You have all your left alignment, center alignment, everything from Illustrator, your, what else, union, subtract, all that good stuff. Mirror, I don't know what this does, but I think if you have it on your iPhone, you can mirror the design on your iPhone or your iPad and stuff like that. Cool. So, anyone have questions about Sketch?
What about font library? Is it pulling from?
Let's talk about text. It pulls from your traditional font library, like most applications. So, I'm now selected. I've got text selected here, and I've got all these different styles here. Typeface. They could clean this up a little bit, but it's the exact same stuff, right? You can search a typeface. So we're Davis, so we go Futura, alignment, color, line height, opacity, blending, and then all the other stuff like fills. Anything else?
How much is it?
It's, I think it's only $50.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It definitely was on promotion.
79, the second on the bottom.
Oh, here it is, 79. When Sketch 3 first came out, it was only 50. But compared to Creative Cloud, I mean, that's nothing. So who's going to go buy it? Cool. I guess, how long is your talk, do you think?
It's like 2 minutes.
Okay, who wants to hear about SVGs? Everyone raise their hand.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, so I haven't implemented these in a Davis site yet, but I definitely will. So getting back into the code here, let me make this a little bigger. Okay, so this guy, this A class right here, everybody see this? Where it says, you know, typical href and then include. Everyone say yes. If we go down here, that is this button right here. So it is using an SVG, right? But there's no image source or anything there, right? So let's look at what it is including. I'm going to have to find this. Let's see. Includes SVG. What is it? The Facebook one? Cool. So this is it. Right, so this is producing that Facebook icon and that circle. Right? Which is really, really cool because this is just code. And with this, you can edit it in CSS. Right? So this has an ID of Facebook. And I think there's a stroke here somewhere. Stroke. Right? So somehow this code is telling the browser to display that image. Now because of that, I can control with CSS what to do. Maybe if it hovers, I want to change the fill color. Right? So far that's as advanced as I've gotten, but I know there's a lot more stuff you can do, like animate elements, make it interact and stuff like that. So let me see if I can find where I even add that. Too much, whatchamacallit, SASS. style sheets. No, here we go. SVG styles. Cool. So SVGs. Should I make this bigger? Yeah. SVGs have their own unique styles within CSS, right? Because if I have like a P tag and I say fill, it's not going to do anything. But this is saying, what is it saying? It's saying on hover for the SVG, change the fill, right? So that's really, really, really cool. And there's tons of other things that can, let's just look up SVGs. That's not what I want. Let's see if Snap will tell us some stuff. I'll look that up when Trish is talking. Okay, so can I make this? So you can tell that it's changing color, right? Just on the hover. Right? Everybody see that's pretty faint, but it's the Google Plus color. So what's I think really cool about this is I can go in here. This is a website called Icon Melon. I can find this nice dinosaur icon, right? I can download it. And let's say I open it up in Sketch here. Right? Oh, cool dinosaur. I'm going to do what Trish just told me. Make exportable. Let's make it a SVG. And I guess I'm going to press this button. Yeah. I actually don't know if it will still do the fill, but I'm kind of excited to see if it does. Instead of opening with Illustrator, I'm going to open in Sublime Text. Holy moly. So this one's a lot more complicated than the other one. But let's see what happens if I copy this into this one. Save it. Everybody cross your fingers for the dinosaurs.
Dinosaur!
Right? So how cool is that? I guess it's not that different than finding a new image, but the cool part about it is since it's just code, you can do anything you want with it. Right? So if I spent the time to figure out how to make it so this dinosaur's teeth change colors when you hover over it, I could do that all with just CSS. Right? So it's pretty freaking powerful. Let's get the dinosaur out of there. It's pretty freaking powerful. That's the moral of the story. What else? Anybody have questions with SVGs? I have a good question. Let's see if we can do it with, what happens if I do it with a bitmap? Okay, so where's my CAS header image? Okay, here's an image. I have a feeling it's going to crash. Okay. Open with Sublime Text. It should be humongous. Look at that loading. Oh my god. But still, I don't know if this is
Sublime do that.
how much. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I know that for icons, they're much smaller than if you load them as a PNG or a JPEG, which is awesome. But so that means that all your weight is going to be probably from your big, nice, pretty banner images. So if this works, then we'll be very light. But I don't know if it will, so we'll find out in a second. Let's compare, actually. Let's compare this guy. As an SVG at 1x. Let's do that. Let's see the different sizes here. Nine kilobytes versus 5. What?
Well, you've gained a lot with the SVG. It'll scale.
Yeah.
You're right.
It'll look good at any
That's right.
resolution.
I forgot to say that. So that's
But bitmaps are not a good case for SVGs. You wouldn't do it for bitmaps.
Okay, well, let's make
Oh
sure.
my.
And that's why.
Yeah, so Steve brought up a really good point that I forgot to talk about. So SVGs, what's really, really cool about them is that I can go here, see this nice big logo. I can go into Firebug, and I can just make the image with, let's say I want it a little bigger. Let's make it all the way bigger. And now it does, let me go any bigger, or it froze. And it won't pixelate, right? Which is really, really cool. So if you are on mobile, it's not going to pixelate. It's going to be perfectly scaled for whatever's looking at it. And if you need to do a quick tweak, it must have froze. Oh yeah. There we go.
And it's going to look good on Retina.
And it's going to look
or
great on
display.
Retina. So I think Sublime Text blew up my computer trying to do that. So I might have to bow out. Anyway, so go try out SVGs, go try out Sketch. There's like a 12-day free trial for Sketch. I recommend trying it because it's super helpful.
For those of you who do Mac Heist occasionally, one of the Mac Heists had Sketch.
Oh, nice.
And so you might, if you buy them occasionally, you might go back and look, because maybe you bought it and didn't know it.
Oh, that's it.
Oh.
Oh,
Holy crap.
oh my
Oh
gosh.
my.
Oh, it's recoded it to a PNG.
Oh, it did?
Yeah.
Where does it say that?
Data,
See,
the image. Oh, wait. Oh.
there was actually a little point at it, so it's
Oh, wait, I'm getting out of here.
probably like a PNG 24 or something like that.
Okay, well, there, you just have to stick with bitmaps for bitmaps. Definitely.
Ridiculous.
Definitely a matrix. Okay,
Oh my
so that's it. Anybody questions on any of that? Cool.
Cool.
All right, hand off.
Awesome.
Oh, also, I guess we'll talk about the logo contest after.
Oh yeah. We're having a logo contest.
Can I do a dinosaur?
Yeah.
I'll show you where
If
to
you
get
get the
one.
most votes, we will use the
What a
dinosaur.
flushing toilet scene from above.
Oh yeah, that too. Does anybody else have something they want to show off? You can use my laptop or.
I was gonna ask you guys, you were talking about logos earlier. I don't know if it's just me or maybe just my computer, but CMYK, UCD with CMYK, the blue seems too light. And then when I print it, it's darker in print, but it still seems light compared to the RGB color, which is very dark. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, the new one.
Is it just me or is
I don't know.
the CMYK just slightly off?
We don't
We
have
don't
to do
print
CMYK.
everything
What's that?
for.
Oh, you don't do any of that?
Well, we don't print things,
Okay.
but
I
that's
know,
interesting. Have you, Aubrey? Have you like done that?
I always struggle with the colors. I mean, and sometimes I just don't know if it's our printers. I print on one printer and it's different than
Yeah, I mean, it looks lighter on my screen. It looks a lot lighter on the screen, and it prints darker, but it still doesn't look right. I mean, compared to the dark blue,
Huh.
you know, because that's a pretty dark navy blue.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it just comes out not that blue, but it comes out more of that blue than it does the dark blue.
Hmm.
And I don't know. I was like, surely they looked at this and said, or they just had the numbers wrong on the website.
Huh.
Well, they only have the CMYK up on the website, don't they?
Yeah, both.
There you go.
I think they do. Maybe they're going on the Pantone or something. I'm
The
not
funny
sure.
thing is for the Pantone, it comes out as a different shade than just
Isn't that
entering the CMYK directly.
I don't understand it. And I've actually gotten logos from Strategic Communications,
Mhm.
and they come out that funky light blue. It's like, wait, that's not right.
What?
I mean, I can't use this, not on the web anyway, so I have to go in and change it to the RGB colors, which comes out the dark blue that looks correct.
Yeah.
And I'm like, they don't really want me to use this, do they? But I don't know. I thought maybe it's just me, and maybe it's my computer. But when I saw it in print, I mean, we've done banners. The blue is still dark. It's darker, definitely in print than it is on screen.
Mhm.
But it's still not right. It doesn't look. I don't know. I wish I could show you an example of it. But I'm going to their webpage, right? They have a site with the colors.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Marketing toolbox.
Identity
Yeah,
standing.
that's where I'm at.
Weird. That's super bizarre.
Are you calibrating your screen or?
Well, I thought about it, my colors are pretty good though. I really feel confident with, like when I use like the Pantone book,
Mhm.
the colors they almost look dead on to the book, so I don't really want to mess with it. So, I don't know.
Have you contacted anybody at like?
No, I'm afraid to.
Oh.
I'm looking at my stuff and go, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Where'd you come up with that logo?
We could send them an anonymous email.
That's why I say logos are scary, because you don't know what logos they have for your department.
Yeah.
And you're going, oh, we don't use that logo. And then of course that raises a red flag. I don't want to raise any red flags.
Mhm. That's true. I also don't email them. Lest they look at all of our websites.
We can go by the rule of, until someone screams at you, just keep on doing it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys do that or not.
You should show off those CSS animations that we did the other day.
Which ones?
The
Typewriter?
ones for like the specified head bar and
Oh,
the
yeah.
ball shaking and everything.
I guess you want me to do that, Trish?
Yeah, sure. Just load it up.
If you have some time, they're kind of cool. And they're actually of design.
Animations.
See that blue? That looks a little bit lighter, doesn't it?
Yeah, what blue is that?
That does look a little bit lighter. I don't know. I thought it was these students, but it
Is
might
that
be.
the ANR blue?
Oh, the firebug is off like on the other screen or
Yeah, I'm
something.
looking at it.
Oh, okay.
I keep it secret.
Yeah.
You have a contest. Guess the color.
Is it on the about class?
Probably only designers
yeah.
look at that and go, that's not the right
I
blue.
know.
Actually, here's a question. Where do you guys get your images? Like the
Finance.
photography?
Yes.
Photos.
I was gonna ask
Photos
that
at UC
too.
Davis.
Let's start.
Really? Because there's nothing there that's any decent.
You have to
Yeah,
log
not
in.
really.
Make sure you log in first too.
What were we talking
Because
about?
if you don't log in, then it
Photos
doesn't
at
show
UC
you.
Davis.edu?
Well, Don
Yeah,
Facebook
it's
has
tricky.
a bunch of stuff.
You gotta search
You have
for
to like
like.
get permission to
but
log
outside
in,
of Don,
and
those are
then
wrong.
I failed at it.
They're wrong.
Oh no,
I'm
really?
looking at it,
Yeah.
I'm doing
I use a
conversion
bunch of
right now.
like.
I got
from-
All I have
I
is
got
like
locked
pictures
out.
of beached whales.
Yeah.
Totally useless.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
I looked up
Okay, well,
agriculture and it was
Isn't that
like
crazy?
one guy
It's-
holding a
it's- you
salmon.
probably
Like
wanna
that's
line it.
Really?
Oh, is it Peter
I
Boyle?
Yeah, it was probably on Peter Boyle.
That's what it is.
I
That's
just
what it
locked
is.
myself out
Yeah.
because I
Oh, that is the
should
wrong
have
one.
logged in, but.
It's,
But photos.UC Davis is a.
Is it like different permissions for people? Because like we see a lot.
'Cause
Of
I see nothing of any, like I've never seen images like you just had there.
Yeah. I also got some from like the last ASI redesign. They gave me like a ton of photos.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean not like.
supposed to be 53.
I guess they're probably too small now though, because that one I had to stretch. It's like blurry.
Yeah.
that's all.
Yeah, but
What's the animate?
Photos is like the hardest,
It was the animation.
figure out.
Yeah.
For us,
did you say we're hiring a photographer?
What's
You
the?
are?
Did you say
What's
you're
the
gonna do
Mr.
it for the
T one?
Oh, I'm
ASI?
gonna hire a photographer, yeah.
Yeah.
The library with the Mr. T face?
Exciting.
Oh, no, that's something, that's not a library, I think, that's just,
No, it was. You download a CSS file.
the one I did was based on the third link there.
Okay, well, let's do that.
Dark blue there.
Who
Oh,
do
do I even have it?
do you design for individual departments?
I don't know who filled.
Because they should
Hold on,
have their
sorry,
own
but-
cache.
I know, maybe I'll bring it to their
Because
attention.
do you have the
Yeah.
actual animation CSS classes laying around?
Um,
Because they're really easy to
The-
understand.
At the dean's office level.
I don't know if I wanna
they
try
also
and
have
put my-
protocol on
Oh, yeah, maybe
their
not.
photographs.
That's okay.
I'll just
I'm
firebug
doing
it.
switch, yeah.
And they have protocol on like
Problem with the,
assigning
yeah, problem with
projects
Firebug is it
into
goes away
them,
really
and so
fast.
so they can find stuff.
Somebody must have it right,
So
because
maybe
I
at
mean,
the,
they're
at
branding
the
it.
college level, the communications
Cool.
office maybe.
You have to do like a breakpoint in order to see if
Looks like, yeah,
All right,
Yeah.
let's talk animations.
They're usually like, you know, who knows what size they are and
Yeah.
who knows who took them 5 years ago and they got
Yeah.
saved to a folder. And it's like the process for us is awful.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
Yes.
Change the source.
It's like a robot.
Maybe,
evil
Yeah.
level.
maybe we'll do this. We'll do this another time.
You can do that in a future meeting. You just
Yeah.
show the.
We don't want to, give too much stuff away at this meeting. All right, Trish, go for it.
Oh, breakpoint.
Whatever you want.
Okay, alright, real quick. Okay, so our last meeting was on responsive design, and then the one before that was on SASS. So somebody mentioned at the last meeting that you can combine those two things and with this handy add-on called Breakpoint. Yeah, just like that. And then, so it's really easy because the problem I had with responsive design before is that you had to put it on this separate style sheet at the end of everything, and you're pretty much rewriting a ton of your different styles from like different places in your website, and they all get like super cluttered. You're rewriting everything like twice, it seemed like. But I like this breakpoint thing because it lets you put it directly in line with all your existing code, just like that. Whoa. And the other nice thing is that it's you just set a bunch of your own, use variables in SASS to set widths, like whatever widths that you're using as your breakpoints, and you could repeat those throughout your content with Keanu Reeves. And so I've been using this on the ASI website. Wait, which one is it? Is it this guy? Okay, so let's say, for example, that I wanted this thingy to turn purple after it gets to like a mobile size or something like that. So this one right here is it's called the subtitle or whatever. So currently, subtitle, color, background is UC of is gold. So if I wanted it to be, it's already set. Add a certain breakpoint, which is Indy, which is a dog name. You could say I want the background to be pink instead. And then in the CSS that it spits out, that hopefully it generated, let's see. It makes that media query directly in line. So it says still a subtitle and background's pink, but only for when the minimum width is 1 pixel or whatever. So, oh shit, I fucked it up. Hang on. Wait a minute.
1 pixel.
Wait, yeah, not 1 pixel. Not Indy. So on latte, I guess maybe it's on latte. Oh shit. These are all dog names. They're not random words. Oh shit. Still fucked it up. Hang on. I think so too. Oh wait, there. Wait, what size is latte? Okay, this is maybe not the best. I haven't looked at this in a while. Hang on, yeah. Okay, so what are my sizes? Oh, latte is 800. Okay, hang on. So latte is still actually kind of big. So anything less than 800, then it's gold, but then bigger than 800, then it's pink. And it's so easy because it's like right in line. And then that also way you can keep them, you could like stack them right after, one after the other, and you know what it's directly affecting. It did make the CSS kind of like crazy though, because it, because you have your @media, your calls are like everywhere, like throughout there. But I mean, it's easier for me to read while I'm writing, so that's the reason I like it. I don't know. Questions? And all you have to do is include it in your SASS.
Do you have anything on responsive for the style sheet above that?
Nah, empty. Completely empty. But like all the way through all of these SASS files, there's these breakpoints everywhere. Yeah. Okay, that's it.
If you have to support legacy browsers like IE8 and down, you can set it to use specific breakpoints for rewriting a separate style sheet if you want, or you can prefix it with like a .IE8 or something like that. And that way you don't have to mess around with, you know, creating stuff for older browsers, and it just does it automatically for you.
Nice. Cool. Any other questions? Or does anybody else have something they want to show off, or What are you guys working on right now? Like website-wise? Scott?
Yeah, looks like we're gonna redo the online gift giving website for UC Davis. So I'm interested to hear what everyone, especially designers, folks, people that anyone's worked on e-commerce or anything before, what were the challenges to getting the credit card put in and the money taken out, because we kind of want to redo it a lot different than it is now, and a lot different than a lot of the other colleges. They like to sort of make you search really hard to find what fund you want to give to, and then you have like this 87 field form that you have to fill out about what your alumni years were and everything before you give your money, and all sorts of stuff. So we're gonna probably redo that whole thing and get these guys involved a lot to make it really pretty. You saw one of the early mock-ups there of the giving website. So I think it'll be pretty cool. But I think the usability will be more than mostly we do apps for staff or faculty or something, so we don't really worry that much about usability. But this time we're gonna have to really care about it. So it'll be interesting. We'll show it off at future meetings maybe, and you guys can critique or something. I don't know. I'm really interested here.
Yeah.
If anybody's anything with donations or credit cards before, like actually getting money out of people's hands.
You know, I checked out a site recently, and because I used it, I guess for Score Big. It's a ticket, purchase tickets for sporting events and theater. I gotta tell you, the usability is outstanding on that site. It does what you expect it to do. You're shocked, you're almost like, whoa, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to go through, you don't want to buy any tickets, but it's kind of cool just to see the checkout process.
Yeah.
And things that you would expect to happen in a normal checkout situation occur, and you're like, whoa. And it's, you know, so I don't know if it's HTML5 what they're doing, but they've got, you know, pre-populated things, and you're going, you know, that most of the time you have to go in and do it.
Yeah.
That you don't have to do. I think if you put the zip code in, you know, most cases you put zip code, it's not good enough, right? You have to also populate your city and state, all those things populated. So once you put the zip code in, your city and state were there, and so you didn't have to do all that stuff. So things like that, obviously, I don't know how they do it, honestly. It's an HTML5 thing.
Yeah.
But it's pretty cool. Cool, you're looking at it. So, like, I don't remember how you did it. You're probably gonna have to like create an account and see all those things. You probably want to do that, but
We'll do it now, I guess.
yeah.
Yeah, it's sort of
It's sort of like a price line for tickets you put in, how much you're willing to pay for a certain seat.
potential.
Right.
Oh.
And then that's cool too, so you also get that thing where it tells you what
yeah,
the
totally
success rate is.
how much we like you.
It's
So
awesome.
that's cool too, they give you a bar chart that says, hey, you know, you got a good shot at getting these tickets,
Yeah.
you know, for $50. But I'm with you, I would put $1 in there too.
Yeah.
Cool.
But I use it, so if you put, I think, put your zip code in there, you'll see that it'll actually, I think it was the same.
Cal, can you go to the current video page?
Oh, Trish.
Oh, Trish.
Let's go.
I ever saw for high stakes complex forms is insert them with Google Analytics so that you can see every time people fail.
That would be really good. We're sort of doing, Cal and I have a little side thing that we're doing a lot with Google Analytics, and it does so much more than I know how to do with it.
Yeah.
You know, I use it for seeing how many people go to pages and stuff. If you can track how many people go to the page and which, you know, that don't end up giving money, that do end up giving money, and why.
Cal found this thing
In
too.
addition, you can instrument things up when you get
Oh wait, no, it's not that one.
Okay.
Peak
How do you
user
use it?
tracking.
You have to use their interface,
Yeah.
you have to use the API. to
So
do
you
it.
basically
can.
catch the error and you call Google.push event kind of thing.
Because you're talking about a high stakes site. Every person you lose partway through is a real problem. So
Yeah.
you want to know exactly the points at which they failed.
Absolutely.
You know, did they fail because they entered their credit card without spaces and you wanted spaces?
Right, exactly.
Yes.
See, that's what I love about sites that also do, when you do the phone number, you just put in the number, it does the dashes.
Yes.
You
That's the match.
don't, you know, those are the things that are important.
Yeah.
Because you don't want someone to try to figure that out. Do I do it all together? Do I put the dashes in?
Yeah. I hate when you try to paste the credit card in and like it chops off the last 5 digits
Right.
because the
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Because it doesn't want spaces.
It doesn't want
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
Cal found this thing recently, and it's a free user testing video. So you just put your website in, and then like a couple hours later, they'll email you a video of somebody using your website. And like it's super funny because they're like, "Oh, it's a college website," and then they're like clicking around, and it gives them some prompts that are like, "What would you try and find on this website?" Or like, if you were a student, what would you?
Like secret shoppers.
Yeah.
You for like I actually don't know the like how much it costs, but it's free for once a month, and then it's they're generic questions. So there's like 5 questions they ask as they're going through the site. So the video, the guys like there's a little question box, and they load the browser, and it's like, what is your first impression? But I know if you pay, you can target a more specific demographic. You can probably ask your own questions, and then you can also do it more than once a month, probably.
We should do this.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
It's really good.
What is your first
Here's an example.
We have one for our second
Okay. Looks pretty nice. Looks like it's a college website.
So this is some lady, right? Just like sitting somewhere.
Next, go to the about.
Like she clicks around. It's really funny. And then it's also like the font loads like super slow on her thing every time. I don't know if you guys use Typekit, but it was like, what the hell, Typekit?
Overview. Let's take a look about it.
Yeah. It's like every single time the font does that thingy, and I'm like,
College spotlight.
Overview. I don't know. I think it's just, I don't know.
Very nice.
And also, she goes to this page like she just keeps clicking on these things that lead to this page, and she doesn't actually go anywhere, and she doesn't talk about it, but yeah, it's kind of funny.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Say something was very nice. I didn't know what she was talking about.
Yeah.
But that site, I mean, when I saw, I want to be careful because I don't listen in this room. There's still a lot of stuff going on there.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on the website. Yeah, it's very true.
We went off the deep end the other way. We don't have a lot of stuff at all on our front page. But then again, the stuff that we want to push out there is not right up front. So we're kind of, I'd like to be somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
It's so hard. Everybody wants all their stuff on the front.
Yes. We definitely have that problem a lot.
I know. Well, just try to find departments. That's the hardest part about UCD's website, trying to find specific departments. It's difficult.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like vet med, it's like there's research, and there's research and institutes. Someone on the outside has no idea if something's an institute or part of a research department.
Who's going to do whatever you're interested in? You go to Google and type in database and type in that.
That's the way to do it. That's the smart way to do it.
Pretty much.
Assuming that they're. I guess I underestimate people. So I'm sorry. Did you guys answer the question about stock images? And
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, we use
I've had quite a bit of success with photos, and then logging in. I think you get more like options after you log in.
With Kerberos?
Yeah, with Kerberos.
Yeah, but you have to get permission to log
For
in.
some of them, you have to get permission to log in just once, and then for some of the photos, you actually have to have ask them to download.
Yeah.
But yeah, the lady who works there is nice. After she instantly called me and verified I am.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's funny. Oh, wait,
No,
where's
no,
mine?
left.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, I always do that. There's a usability thing right there.
Have you seen the new Virgin America website? Speaking of really long forms.
Okay, look up agriculture.
Anyway.
Yeah. Oh, it forces you. That's
Yeah,
very interesting.
basically they just keep appending things to the bottom of that page.
Yeah.
See, it's really cool. I
Yeah.
mean, but it doesn't look very.
There's people. Lots of people.
Lots of people talking about agriculture.
That was a funny piece of grass.
Yeah. No, it's where
There's
you
trees
keep
in
up.
that one.
Keep up.
I think a lot of this, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think a lot of the photos in this are from the Strategic Communications Office. It's like their uploads of their staff photographer.
Put in wheat for
Probably.
your search term, not agriculture.
Yeah, put in wheat.
Doge.
John Fisher has a Flickr account.
Or Doge.
But again, you're still limited to.
Yeah.
Some people. There's only 3. What the?
Put in hemp.
I put in field
Field.
to get the
Oh, this is your favorite picture.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, field.
Probably hemp.
Where did I get the? Or maybe not. I can't remember where I searched to get the like. It was field.
Actual
It was on my.
sport. Hey, more dogs.
See, and that's another thing too, we go
Yeah,
out,
field.
like I've gone out and taken shots of the dairy here. It'd be
Mhm.
nice to have a place I could put it up, that everybody else
Can you upload things to here?
Put photos here.
I don't know. I've never tried, but that would be cool.
I thought that was part of the point of it.
It would, yeah, it would
Oh,
totally
or
make
maybe
sense.
it's a college that has a sharing system.
I don't know. But yeah. Is this the same stuff that you guys see, or is it like?
Pretty much, it's
Yeah.
useless stuff.
Yeah.
Useless stuff.
I think there's no use for it.
And nobody knows how to upload.
Yeah. Bummer. Maybe somebody should make an application.
Yeah.
To Flickr.
Yeah.
Yeah, that, or
Like I
that.
said, Don Priestley, I think he's the school's photographer. He has a Flickr account, but again, you gotta sift through all that stuff, and it's not organized well.
Mhm.
It's really tough to, because, it'd be like state fair. Well, okay, what was he doing at the state fair? He was taking pictures of 4-H, UC Davis vet,
Yeah.
doing work there, but he's not taking pictures of carnival rides, so
Yeah,
it's not gonna make sense unless you're looking for.
be good if it was tagged.
Oh, I'm sure he tags them. I don't know. I'm sure he tags them.
I don't know. Yeah, that's it.
But I don't know how you access it. Maybe you have to contact Dawn and say, can you let me into you share your account with me?
Natural? Maybe they're under natural. 65 folders.
Yeah, an arboretum should come.
Oh yeah. I don't know. Corn. Oh, we didn't search corn.
That's pretty cool.
Trees.
You can do a lot with clouds.
Yeah. Fishing at the arboretum?
Yeah.
Is that safe?
Seems like
There's a lot of scary out there.
I've seen some big fish in there.
Yeah. They have like five eyeballs.
Yeah. Anyway, cool stuff. So next month, I think we're gonna have a talk from Carol, and I think she was gonna talk about like client management or something interesting. But I'll email it out, I guess.
And logo.
Oh, so we're having a logo contest. We've had like one entry so far. So if you're interested, all the roles were on there
On the email.
on the email, and just send them to Cal, so we can have a voting before our next meeting.
It's for this club. It's a logo for this club.
We can have T-shirts or hats. I don't know. No, just kidding.
Yeah, you guys should show your contest that you guys do.
Oh, our last one. So, yeah, okay. So this started because Cal and I have design challenges because sometimes we don't get a lot of design work, or it's really boring design work. So ours are What's the thing? Design challenges. Okay, so our last one was to make an animated GIF, and the rules for the contest were that it had to be a drag and drop, like a dragon dropping something, like as if it were like a loading GIF for something that happening.
A clone plugin.
Clone plugin. So these are what we came up with. They're kind of ridiculous. But they're really fun to do, and they took like not too much time, but they're silly. But I didn't know how to make an animated GIF before this, and now we do. I don't know. It's pretty funny. We've had devil worship icons. It was a fun challenge. Yeah, there's a lot of silly things. They're like, here, devil worship.
It's open to the public.
It probably is, yeah.
I hope so.
So these are our, and we have like loads. These are cows, devil worship icons. They're pretty hilarious too, but
The sheep.
the sheep is fun. Sacrificial lamb is under mine. They're, yeah, ridiculous. Anyway, so the logo contest that we want to do for this club is just another way we could practice some other design work.
Did you guys illustrate these, or?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did these, and then Cal did these.
Something incomplete.
It's pretty silly.
Yeah, so I think we have some swag to give out.
Yeah, definitely swag. Anyway, that's it. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
I can't believe the projector worked.
Yeah, well,
So excited.
it didn't. We
Well,
had to unplug it and plug it back in like 60 times.
It did more so than last time.
Yeah. Yeah.
For your impacts of giving an icon,
Oh, yeah.
you have an apple. What if you have an apple falling on Newton's head?
Animate it.
Animated.
Thanks for checking that CMYK for me.
So I think Trish and I.
No, I can't today. I gotta leave early.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I sent it to him.
Yeah.
But I will on Thursday for sure.
Cool. Millions of
Yeah.
programs and stuff.
What, for all the millions of programs? Well, hopefully not
There we go.
that. Hopefully more like 5.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Cool.
Okay.
Good seeing you.
I said you were part of something.